And we're back for game number 2 of our second best of 3 of the day. Could potentially be our final game of the day as the Lions hung a quick game 1 win on Fnatic. And yeah, that turned into a barroom brawl. I was going to say backyard brawl works, barnyard brawl works. Okay, Aaron, why do we talk? Why do we even try? How about we just talk about Alliance and how good they looked in game 1? Really, they got punched in the mouth quite a bit early, gave up a couple of really quick kills, and Fnatic looked like they were in charge. Looked like they were ready to take control of the early and mid game, and Alliance just flat out came back firing, especially once Bulldog hit level 8. His hooks only missed one hook that I saw the entire game, and even that one was just kind of a shot in the dark that is fairly justifiable to have been missed. But Alliance going to want to make this a quick 2-0. Fnatic, though, certainly wants to push it to a game 3, doesn't want to find themselves sitting in 1-1 in the standings. Alliance, though, in their bid to remain perfect, going to try to shut the door. Looks like we're not going to have a Clockwork handled by Bulldog this time. Will be a Nature's Prophet for his hero. Crystal Maiden picked up in second position by Alliance. Clock and Veno going to be the combination out of Fnatic. And to break down this part of the draft, as well as the rest of the draft and the rest of the games throughout all of D2L Season 4, welcome in once again, Ben Merlini Wu. And Ben, I mean, what can you say? It's Loda actually tweeted, if you get bullied, make sure you punch back. And that's exactly what Alliance did. They and really it wasn't just that Alliance played well. Fnatic was playing well for quite some time. The movement on both sides was truly immaculate. Alliance, though, just a little bit better. And that's kind of been the story of their progress as a team over the last year.
Yeah, a lot of teams like to just play really passively when they get behind and try and catch up through farm. Alliance chooses through pick smart fights and just killing Fnatic and picking off their really strong heroes too. Like Nature's Prophet, he got trounced on early game. He was 1-3, and they're really good at identifying the weaknesses in Fnatic's lineup and their positioning and just completely taking advantage of it. Hani died, bought back, died, and then got hookshot in mid and died again. And then that was pretty much just it for Hani. He did very well in the early game, and he got a decent amount of CS, got a decent amount of levels on farm, but doesn't mean anything when you get hookshot, when you get trapped in those cogs. Admiral Bulldog really pulling through for Alliance.
Yeah, and I mean, it's so hard to even look at that game and say, what do you do? I mean, Fnatic, again, it wasn't as if they were just making dumb mistakes or as if they were taking bad fights. The movement was just so good. And to be honest, I don't feel like they got nearly as much out of that Zeus pick as they would have liked. And you said this as soon as the pick came out at the end of the draft in game 1. S4's Storm Spirit pick was just beautiful. It just is the perfect hero to deal with a Zeus. What Zeus wants to do is sit in the back of the fight, spam all of his easily spammable skills, stay safe as long as he can, just to max out his deeps, as you like to say, his DPS.
And the deeps.
And having that hero to just jump straight through, focus fire him down, even if all he did was jump in, hit him, and then vortex him, then jump back out while the rest of Alliance rushed over top of Fnatic, that alone was enough. And so many dives taking place between S4's Storm Spirit and the Clock for Bulldog. Gradually Fnatic's lead was whittled away, and Alliance ran away with it. So taking a look at the way the rest of the draft is panning out, looks like they don't want to deal with S4's Magnus Elder Titan, also banned out by Fnatic. Juggernaut taken out by Alliance. I feel like that's a really good ban. You see, I mean, Venomancer in post 6.79 really became more popular, but what he's being used for predominantly now is not just early team fight, because he does have a lot of team fight potential, but he fits really, really effectively into any kind of push strategy. So, and speaking of push, Alliance still has the Chin pick available to them if they want to snag that for Ake.
Just proceeding fairly slowly.
Alliance's turn to pick.
Man,
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say the bonus time very low for both, 11 and 20 seconds, so the rest of the draft should move quickly.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they took so much time. Clockwork was picked up pretty fast by Fnatic. Clearly, they identified that as a problem for them last game. You can't... Clockwork versus Nature's Prophet is just never very good for Nature's Prophet unless you get really far ahead early. But usually when you get hookshot, you're just dead unless you can farm a very, very fast Necrobook and try to man mode him inside the cogs. But most of the time, it's just still a very difficult matchup. Alliance, though, usually very, very effective with Nature's Prophet. Admiral Bulldog just so good at avoiding getting initiated on and avoiding getting caught out of position. Like, rarely do you see Admiral Bulldog. It's like, oh well, he died, now their team can't fight. That's just not a very common occurrence. Naga Siren, given that to Alliance, I think is a lesson that many teams have learned, to just don't give Alliance Naga Siren.
Yeah, Naga one of the plethora of heroes that Alliance
5
runs
seconds
to,
remaining.
not quite perfection, but as close to it as you're going to see in the West. And right now, still waiting to see S4's
Reserve
hero,
time.
most likely, of course, Loda. Still wanting a hero as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see a Mirana pick up here. They're going to have Ensnare as well as Frostbite to chain the Sacred Arrow off of, as well as Nature's Prophet Sprout. Fnatic grabs up the Pugna. I think that jives with what we anticipated and what was anticipated by Alliance, taking the Juggernaut out. They were thinking that Fnatic might want to run a push strategy. And Clockwork, another hero, even though he doesn't directly add to the push, he fits in very well to any push strategies. I'm actually going to grab a Weaver instead, so we'll talk about that in a moment. But that Clockwork pick giving you the reach you need to make the enemy team feel very uncomfortable behind their own tower, makes it so they can't just dig their heels in as you slow push into them without risking being caught with a Clockwork hook. So Alliance, though, they're going to be able to roam so effectively with Crystal Maiden and Naga Siren. They're going to have the reset button of the Naga and Nature's Prophet, a +1 to any engagement. This is going to be a strategy where I feel like Fnatic needs a very stable, very quiet early laning phase where they just get their levels, get a little bit of farm. Then they need to get these heroes together and start to push in 5-man.
I like the way Alliance drafts. They draft like a Nature's Prophet, a very flexible hero. If you want to go all out early aggression, if you want to go farm, if you want to go push, if you want to go split push, Nature's Prophet is good at all of those. And just like last game, they leave their mid pick last in case they want to run like a very team fight centric lineup with like Magnus, or just like a very gank oriented with Storm Spirit, and it just lends a lot more flexibility, and they're able to adapt to an opponent's draft much better than other teams. Like for example, our last series, Shadow Fiend was picked up third, which is like, okay, well, you better pick something to shut them down, and instead they go with like anti-mage last pick, EG did. So you can already tell like Alliance's draft is just much better than the other teams. They actually draft against the other team as opposed to just drafting for themselves. Like EG with the first game with the starter to dazzle, none of that's to counter the other team. It's just what they're comfortable with, and Alliance drafts what they're comfortable with and what works well against the opposition. They don't really have any lockdown for Weaver. Like if he gets hookshot, just time lapse out, whatever, no big deal. Venomancer slow, Pugna Decrep, doesn't really matter when he has max move speed. And likewise, Fnatic also picks more lockdown for Alliance. They Earthshaker good versus Mass Illusions if he's actually able to get his Blink Dagger up. Good lockdown versus Weaver, good counter initiate. If Naga Siren actually tries to run into, she might get echoed, and they might get owned after the Song of Siren too. So both of these teams with fairly good drafts.
Yeah, the Earthshaker pick, though, worries me a smidge because we've seen how easy that hero can be to shut down if a team's all on the same page. The Viper pick is just such a solid pickup for Alliance there. It makes so much sense. A mid-game monster, very, very difficult to bring down, and not a hero that you want to really be hooking that much if you're a Clockwork. I mean, Clock obviously can jump on a lot of these heroes. Like you said, Weaver kind of has the escape there, so that's not so much of a problem. Naga and Crystal Maiden going to be food for that. But what worries me about that Earthshaker pickup coming out now is Alliance has a team that's going to be roaming. It's going to be able to apply pressure in a variety of ways depending on how much relative farm priority they're going to be giving to the Weaver and the Viper, at what stage of the game they want those heroes to peak. We saw in EG versus Virtus Pro one ward that, if not properly dealt with, can shut an ES down if he's planning to just ancient jungle, or ancient pull, I should say, to get his levels. And how many times have we seen a hero like Earthshaker, well, Earthshaker in particular, whenever you put him in that passive kind of a role, before he gets out and moving, gets out and trying to gank, you end up usually having a fairly weak laning phase. And I feel like Fnatic really needs to have a solid laning phase, especially with a Klinks pickup. That will be
Are they doing Klinks versus Viper? I've never seen that matchup before.
Yeah, I think they are. Hani taking on Klinks now. And yeah, it's going to be Era who's actually going to be taking the Pugna to farm.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Klinks did get his Searing's Arrows buff from 30, 40, 50 to 30, 40, 50, 60, which is pretty good, but can you really compete with Viper? The attack speed slow is pretty detrimental, but I guess maybe Strafe can counter it. So in theory, it seems decent. I'll really have to see how it plays out, but Klinks is typically not a mid hero because he has very poor access to the big neutral camps. Dire Tide, or just... Dire Side safe lane is usually where you want to be because it's very easy access to this neutral camp. And if you're mid, it's like you're decent with runes, so he can get like a bottle early if he wants. But really, being able to like it's really inefficient to go like, okay, I'm here, I want to go here, and then gank like somewhere else around the map. It just takes a lot of time. I guess he can swing into here and get bottom, but Hani typically a more farmy solo mid than a ganker.
Take a look through our lineups, as it looks like they are going to be prioritizing different sides of the map. This game will have Fly running on our Earthshaker. The Venomancer are going to be played by No Tail. Pugna, as mentioned, will be handled by the chief carry player in Era. We're going to have a Clockwork in our series for the second time, this time handled by Trixie by Fnatic this time around anyway. Hani, as you mentioned, an interesting matchup in mid. He's going to be handling our Bone Fletcher, Mr. Clinks, up against that Viper on Alliance. Speaking of Viper, he's going to be played by S4. Crystal Maiden will be played by Ake with Weaver, handled and farmed up by Loda, who bounced back really well in Game 2 after a poor start on Kunkka. EGM, no surprise to see him on Narga Siren, one of his signature heroes, and arguably the best profit player in the world going to be Admiral Bulldog, kicking it in the well, too cool for school, just waiting for the horn to blow.
We see them already probably scout out the lanes. He actually puts two of his treants together. I'm not exactly sure why he does that, but regardless, Rune will spawn bottom, regeneration Rune for their tri-lane, Loda, Aki, and EGM, and they'd really like to put Weaver in the tri-lane, and it's very effective. He's just so extremely difficult to kill. Venomancer slow, not really doing much, but Venomancer is actually going to be on the top lane, so Admiral Bulldog may actually be caught out. He has boots first, with Nature's Call, did not get pulled. Didn't get pulled anything, so we'll see how this works out for him.
This bottom lane could be in some trouble. We are going to see them move the Shaker into lane, which is great. So far as it goes, but this 2-1-2 up atop, Bulldog is going to know how to handle this. The kill potential here at level 1 is not that great. Once Trixie gets up to about level 3, Bulldog will have to be very, very careful. Battery assault, the damage from that, plus a Venomous Scale could certainly make him easy food. But Fly on the Earthshaker going to be soaking up some experience trying to secure this lane. Loda should have no problem farming for the most part. The kill potential is immense here for this tri-lane, though, especially with Ake running around the jungle, jungling up. He's going to be able to come out at any point, and basically if an Ensnare or Frostbite lands on Pugna in particular, it's going to be all on Fly. He's going to have to catch a number of heroes with a fissure to save his life, but even then Loda with Shikuchi will be able to dive pretty deep in those cases. So very, very tenuous lane for Fnatic. They really need this to go well, so hope to see them play carefully. Otherwise, Alliance going to have the potential to just punish them severely for this.
Venomancer going to mid. As for maybe caught out. No points in Corrosive Skin yet. Oh, there's his first point, but he is downhill. This is the opportunity that Fly is or No Tail rather is looking for.
Yep, going to bounce right back to his tower. Here comes Ake. Using his clarity, he's got his 1 point in Arcane Aura. We'll see. Hang on. We actually see Trixie getting quite aggressive under this tower. Bulldog, though, keeping the tower safe, and they're going to go for it. Fly, going to throw out the fissure. Only got one. There's the... Decrep's actually there to help. Loda selling out on it. Will end up being the first blood. Got way too greedy. There's a Gale on the EGM now as well. No Tail hung on to it until he needed it. They may be able to get him. There's the D and no Decrep, just the Nether Blast. And EGM's going to make it a double kill going the way of Era. And Ake coming back in. They make it a return kill on No Tail. Looks like they will. No, but Fissure's there, just not enough. Loda with the Geminate attack, getting the second auto attack off to make it at least a 2-for-1 trade. But all in all, not a bad exchange for Fnatic overall.
I think slight misskill by Aki there. He had level 2 Arcane Armor. If he had Frost Number there, it's easy for a split, and he gets his level 3 quickly enough anyways. So level 2 Arcane Armor is nice sometimes. Trixie playing very aggressively on Bulldog on top. He has boots though.
And this is what you got to watch out for. It is deceptive just how much trouble you can get into once that clock hits level 3. And by level 4, especially by level 5, he can kill pretty much any hero he wants. Era's left alone down here. We still got the tri-lane from Alliance sticking together. Haven't talked a whole lot about mid. We could see Hani sitting at 11 CS to Viper's 14, so he's at least hanging with the hero.
Yeah, but S4 has 7 denies. That's just so much. The problem with Searing Arrow, it doesn't work on denies. Nether Toxin does, so it's not terribly easy for him to CS even with that plus 30 damage.
Era looked like they were looking to dive him. Fly showing up at just the right time, though. He's got 3 clarities, and he's going to have to make good use of them. Mana's such a big issue for this bottom lane. The Arcane Aura helping out Alliance considerably there. Bulldog going to be dove at top following the Gale. Trixie's right on top of him. Battery Assault plus a Rocket Flare should be enough, so Fnatic continuing to keep the pressure up. Now, that top lane is a lane they should win over and over again now that we see the Clockwork with a handful of levels under his belt. So all the more important for Alliance to get some work done down here. Twice there, and Snare was wound up by EGM. Make it 3 times. Looking for a target. Keeps rethinking it.
Yeah, Era really good with that defensive Decrepify on Earthshaker too early, so they're just playing very well in this 2-1-2 situation. Admiral Bulldog looks like he's going to go phase boost first and just not going for the early hand of Midas Rush. I think that's the right idea, especially when Venomancer is constantly on your tail.
Alliance still looking to make something happen down here. They really have played this well. Fnatic, I mean. They have held it together, leading 3-1. Mid certainly not going as well as they would like, but all in all, Klinks can bounce back from that. He's actually going to find himself a DD, so that'll help him out for at least a little while. Lotus Farm, though, sitting at 20 CS, not too shabby. 21 for the Clockwork, certainly going to have Trixie in good shape by the time he hits level 6. And there's another Gale on the Bulldog. Bulldog a bit too far forward, trying to use his treants to tank. There's going to be a TP in. They're going to get Bulldog for sure, and EGM shows up just in time to stare at a corpse.
Yep, I don't really know why he TP there. Even if he comes in, like maybe he gets his lucky snare on a tower combined with Riptide, but that's a big maybe.
Yep.
And now that they know he's up there, Eric can push out. He can get some farm and experience some that he was desperately searching for. S4 really needs to. Ooh, it looks like EGM's going to die too, actually.
Got to watch out for that Gale. Cogs go down, and Trixie off to a great start. This is going to be another kill. Actually, Vino takes that. Bulldog's up there now. He's got to be careful. No mana for a Gale or any kind of a follow-up from No Tail. It was on CD anyway. But more kills going Fnatic's way. Make it 5-1. Loda will be fissured, and they're going to follow it up. The Decrep plus Nether Blast doing good damage. Arrow's going to pursue this out. Nether Blast just right on his back legs, dragging now through the water. There's a Shikuchi to get away. The Nether Ward went down a little late, so very close to picking off Loda, nonetheless forcing him back.
Yeah, if he dropped that Nether Ward like when they first fissured, they probably would have gotten a kill on him because he casted Shikuchi twice, but it would have been very close.
And in mid, we can see Hani, now level 6, avoiding a gank as Ake tried to rotate over. S4 sitting at 34 CS and 13 denies, the equivalent of 3 full waves denied away from this Klinks, and that's going to show. I mean, he's coming up on level 7. Viper already there. And I really like Fnatic's chances. They played well. No towers down. Just about 1,000 gold lead for them, though. And the experience definitely going in their direction.
Yeah, Trixie is really the big winner. 2-0-1 on him. And No Tail's playing very well, too. Evolved in all 5 kills, actually, on the side of Fnatic. But, yeah, Bulldog can't really do anything up top anymore just because if he gets hookshot, he's dead. And he needs to stop dying if he wants to have a mid-game impact. As for, they really need him to get a mech as soon as possible so they can start taking more fights. Earthshaker's level is only level 4. I guess that's not that bad compared to Naga Siren's almost level 5 and CM's level 4.
Yeah, this duo lane bottom really has worked out well. Alliance was in a situation where, to be honest, they should have been able to outplay Fnatic. But after that disastrous turn of events at bottom where they ended up giving 2 away, including a first blood, they just haven't really been able to apply the pressure I think they wanted to be able to apply. Loda going to be caught out with a fissure and a Decrep plus Nether Blast. Here comes the ulti from Nature's Prophet, and Bulldog going to show up. They're going to get Era. Veno's there as well. Got off the Poison Nova. Fly going to be cleaned up. No Tail. Got to be careful. He's doing good damage. There's going to be another TP out. EGM might be in trouble. There's the Naga Sleep. Going to try to get everyone back to safety. Bulldog will be able to survive. He's going to try to TP away as will. Up. Nope. Good shot by Trixie. It's a killing spree for him. Hani gonna be dusted out. They're gonna follow this up. Should be able to get a kill here. There's a Viper strike, but with Era showing up, Decrep on the Ake. Lot of damage plus the life drain. Not enough to kill him, but certainly enough to scare the hell out of him and force him back across the river.
Yeah, Klinks with that death pack is so extremely hard to kill. 1,200 HP on him right before the buff wore out. Also, a rocket narrowly misses Aki there. And Nature's Prophet, he had a TP down there earlier. He would have been able to escape TPing out at the same time as EGM. EGM with a really nicely placed song there, just in range of the Clockwork.
Speaking of clock, Trixie spots out S4. Has a hook. There's a fissure, Trixie. Is he going to hook it? Nope. Just so tough to engage into a Viper, even whenever you have a numbers advantage. He's just going to cause problems.
He has the Invis rune.
Yep.
If they didn't have the Invis rune, they would have certainly gone on him.
Yep.
Structures
Loda doing a little damage to the tower. Going to force out a glyph. In the meantime, Bulldog is split pushing bottom. Has a little bit of help from EGM if he wants it. So trying to spread Fnatic out, spread the map a little bit, create some room, play a little catch up. And again, you know, what's remarkable is as well as Fnatic's played.
Load on top.
Yep, and they're going to get the kill.
He's not level 6 yet.
No time lapse costed him there. What's remarkable is Fnatic, as well as they played, really haven't opened up as big a lead as you think they would have.
It's one of the reasons is why Alliance is really good about spending their gold right before they died. Loda bought a TP score right before he died. Nature's Prophet bought a Buzz of Pace before he died on bottom. When he died on top, he bought a Blades of Attack. So they're just really good at minimizing the gold lost from deaths. And that's a statistic that's like really hard to see. In Dota 1 at the end, you could see, oh, how much gold I lose from death, but they don't have anything like that in Dota 2. And these really small things make Alliance just a #1 team.
Yep.
Top tier rather.
And Fnatic grouping is 4 in their own side of the jungle. Bulldog getting a little bit of time to play catch up.
There's a smoke from 3 heroes.
Yep. I'm actually surprised he didn't catch arrow with that. Hani moving out. S4 gonna be the target. There's a fissure and caught him with the Gale. That should be the end of S4. They're going to rotate in, not in time to save him, and the TP gonna be canceled. Very effective movement out of Fnatic once again. And even though they took a very tough game 1 loss, they have been moving well all day long.
Yeah, Fnatic just a really good team too, and they adapt very well. The Clockwork pick just really working out for them, as that has pointed out, and taking advantage of Song of the Siren being on cooldown for yet another 20 seconds. If they have Song of the Siren, they can totally counter initiate, but this tower looks like it's going to drop. Glyph is down for it was just used actually, and Era uses Nether Blast, first tower of the game. Actually, second tower. Bottom tower died in the process.
Lotus finished.
That was a while ago.
Yeah, Prophet able to bring that down. And Bulldog just finished his Midas, coming out at 10.5 minutes. Not the fastest, not the slowest. They're going to need a lot out of Bulldog in terms of split pushing, in terms of coming to these engagements once the fights get a little bit bigger. And Era's actually off to a great start. He does have he's got his buckler done. He's going to have a mech done in just about 400 gold, so he's in great shape.
Loda, on the other hand, just hit level 7. So, I mean, yeah, things are pretty good for Admiral Bulldog and the rest of Alliance right now. Having that 10-minute Midas with a phase boost and dying 3 times, that's really good.
Level advantage definitely going the way of Fnatic. Level 9 for both Clinks and the Clockwork. Compare that to 8 for Viper and Bulldog.
Hani trying to pick off Bulldog.
There's Trixie, and Hani right on top of Bulldog. Doesn't look like Trixie wanted to take a hook. Here we go. Fnatic falling back a little bit. There's a rocket. The will spot. The Treants doing their work here. Right now, I feel like Fnatic could be pressing their advantage, though. They have a very aggressive team. Clinks with his Treads, his Aquilodon, about 1,000 gold towards his Orchid up atop. We're going to have a fight break out. There's going to be a time lapse from Loda. Trixie tried to cog him in. They're going to catch Ake and blow him up. There's a Gale on the Loda as well. And yes, they do manage to get him. Trixie survived due to the good decrep coming out of Era. Era is playing a very good Pugna, not just in his spell usage and so on, but he has saved teammates a number of times now.
Yeah, he's been really good about those expensive decreps. And yeah, Loda he needs to go in recovery mode. I think just go drums at this point or BKB. There's no point in playing greedily at this point. Has to spend your gold. Emerald Bulldog though still farming away 1,000 gold after that 10 minutes Midas pickup. He's probably I don't know what he should go. Probably Necro Book in this situation.
Mech now done on Pugna. They're going to be able to push very effectively. Hani's going to wander into a whole mess of Alliance players. And Alliance just going to have to try to worm their way back into this.
They need sentries too.
Yeah. He's got some dust. Sentries would certainly be a help. They're a little too anemic in terms of gold to have thoughts about a gem at the moment, but if and when would certainly be a nice pickup.
Blade Mail already completed on Clockwork. They don't know that the Roshan is going on right now. Alliance going for a very sneaky attempt. They have very, very good ward set up. Oh, actually, there's a ward over here too. Do they scout it out? I think they know something's up. Trixie, rocket up in 3 seconds. Looks like he's going to shoot it in, but they're all going to be gone.
There it is. No one home. Roche going to town on the Treant. Fnatic in a position to challenge this out. Trixie setting up for a hook if he had thought someone was going to be there. Alliance wisely, though, clearing out. Up at top, Era's going to go split push a little bit, do what a Pugna does.
Yeah, he has his mech completed. Tower siege begins, and they're forced to run away. Can Fnatic actually do Roshan for themselves? Not really. Hani's been running around, wasting a lot of time, though. He probably could have had his Orchid right now if he just kept farming, but he's just looking around for kills. But Alliance very good about not getting picked off, and they're almost always as a group.
Yep, Alliance responding en masse up the top, and we can see this is just the kind of the dire straits they find themselves in. I mean, the lead is considerable. We're coming up on 5,000 gold lead for Fnatic so far throughout 13, 14 minutes now. The experience.
Oh, they're looking for a chicken kill?
And Bulldog, one more One more. Not going to chance it. Turns it
Radiant's courier
and walks
has been
uphill.
killed.
And I didn't see, did the courier have anything on it?
I don't believe so. It was just returning home. But still, that will cut the gold deficit to about 3,000.
Yep. Very important for Loda. Any little bit of help he can get right now. He's way far behind in his item progression, just level 8. Take a look at the net worth. You can see he's down in the bottom half of overall net worth. So nice little bonus to him.
See a lot of wards being pinged out. Do they have a gem themselves? Oh, there is a smoke coming out from 3 people. Hani's still looking for his first kill of the game.
Oni going to move northward. They've got Era serving as a little bit of bait. S4 was spotted behind the tower. Any movement in from Alliance right now would be dangerous. They have to know everyone's missing, though. I'd be surprised if they show up at that top tower. It'll be coming in all at once. And they're going to get a ward down. Trixie.
Uh-oh, S4 is just going to get rocked.
Oh, Gale's shot way off the mark. There's the rocket flare and the fissure coming in. No reaction whatsoever. As, yeah, I mean, Alliance honestly is just being outmaneuvered. Loda's trying to farm his way to relevancy. But this push composition out of Fnatic is getting the job done. They've got half of the outer tier towers down already.
Trixie is TPing away, though. I don't know if Alliance knows that, though.
And we can see Ake's there in defensive position. He's got a little help from EGM. But at this point, Fnatic can begin to just starve Alliance out. Going to be able to take very effective control of that dire side jungle with heroes like Clinks in particular.
Start that phase of the game right now. Clinks just needs his Orchid, though. He still hasn't done anything in this game. But Clinks can't really do that much before his Orchid besides just farm creeps. Admiral Bulldog looks like he's going for a Force Staff to deal with the Clockwork. Let's see what item is coming out for Loda. Looks like a straight BKB.
Was saying how good is Bulldog at the end of last game. Tell you what, how good's Trixie? Trixie having quite a Clockwork game himself.
Clockwork OP?
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. 5-0-3. He's been involved in 8 of the 11 kills Fnatic has tallied so far.
Yeah, he's been playing extremely well this game. And it looks like, are we going to see another smoke room? They are clumped up. There is the smoke on Earthshaker. Looks like they are not. Hani, let's check his Orchid status. Just needs a little over 500 gold, which should come pretty easily after this T1 push on bottom. I don't think Alliance is looking to fight at all. They want to push up mid and top at the same time. Perfectly content to give up that tower. I don't know if they're going to give up 2, but the way it stands in their position right now certainly looks like it.
Tier 1 will drop uncontested. They have a glyph up to defend Tier 2 if they want. The push potential just so high with this squad between Clinks' Strafe and Fnatic with Nether Blast. Just look how much damage is being chunked away. Viper finishes his mechanism, comes out fairly late. And we can see Trixie just kind of running reconnaissance over near the dire side secret shop. Yeah, they're just going to give away all of their outer tier towers and hope they have firepower enough to come back as we approach 20 minutes. Not even going to be able to take the mid tier 1 and certainly not going to be able to take the top tier 1. No-Tail shows up and forces the TP out of S4. Era unable to catch up with him. Oh, never mind. They actually did get the top tier 1.
Yeah, Alliance knows that they can't fight right now, though. They have no mech. Oh, they just...
Caught Fly out.
Fly
trying to TP out. He's going to get off a fissure and spin an Echo Slam, and they're going to get a 1-for-1 exchange out of that. So even what should have been a complete catch-out for Alliance ends up backfiring as they trade EGM for the Earthshaker.
Still good for them, though, as long as they can delay his blink. He's like halfway there. Nagasa are not really going to have any items. She actually bought her power triggers right before, too. So, again, Alliance just really good at spending their gold. If they didn't spend their gold, it'd be easily be a 10,000 gold lead right now. Loda still working on his BKB. He's pretty close, just 1,000 more gold. Admiral Bulldog still needs to keep up the pressure on the towers.
Bulldog still just looking for farm. He went 4 staff. Now he's got up another Glove of Haste. And we'll see what item he wants to snatch up with that. For now, we saw an interesting stat popped up by Nahaz. Compositions with a Pugna in post 6.79 Dota succeed so much more often, very, very handily more often, whenever the game ends before 30 minutes. So Fnatic going to want to maximize this lineup as quickly as they can. And definitely moving down mid with that in mind. Trixie going to set up shop on the high ground and look for a hook. Fnatic, or Alliance just isn't split pushing fast enough. I mean, they're not punishing Fnatic at all for 5-manning this much.
They don't have enough items to do so, and once Clinks gets his Orchid, which he has it out right now, they can punish Alliance very heavily for split pushing. Nisha's Prophet may be able to TP away in time with 4 staff and Town Portal scroll. We'll see.
Fnatic withdrawing at least temporarily. They may get this tier 2 bottom. They don't have a glyph up. Here comes Hani. Hani might be able to, will be able to blow up Loda. So they get the tower, but it cost them Loda. Didn't see if he was able to spend his gold or not, but at the very least, like Alliance right now, I feel like their number one goal is just going to be to extend this game. Just keep this going as long as you can. No matter how far behind you get, you look at their composition, their main late game physical damage dealer is going to be a Clinks. Clinks can be shot down by a hard, full-itemed Weaver, no matter how long it takes them. And obviously, Admiral Bulldog, I mean, this is a game where even Bulldog might even think about getting something like an Orchid just to help deal with the Clinks.
Yeah, he's just so hard to kill, though. Even if he's silenced, he still has how much HP? 1,700 HP right now, and that's without any other items besides Strength Treads.
Mid-tier 1 will end up dropping. No glyph to help, and they're going to mech through it. So all map control currently going the way of Fnatic. Fnatic has lost 3 towers, though, and that mid-tier 1 is a little bit low. So, I mean, Alliance is down, but not quite out. We can see they're actually turning the gold around a little bit. It was up to 7,500 to the advantage of Fnatic, now cut down to around 6,000. The experience, the longer the game goes, the less that experience advantage is going to matter. Naga Siren getting to level 11, I feel like is going to be very important for them to extend this game as well. Just getting the shorter cooldown on Song of the Siren will help a ton. Maelstrom will be the pickup for Admiral Bulldog, so definitely going with a split push build.
Yep, they just need any sort of mid-game items that they can right now. Weaver just, 200 gold away from his BKB. Hopefully once he starts that, he can start getting some kills. But Alliance just on a very slippery slope after losing the laning phase. And Fnatic with their 2-1-2, I didn't think it was going to pay off. I was like, oh man, Earthshaker's just going to get crushed on bottom. But they've been playing very, very well. Hani looking for a kill, 1,900 HP on them. He has a big, big creep that he death packed.
There's the blink up on the Earthshaker. Scepter's going to be out. Big items coming out. Scepter and a gem come out for the Clockwork and the Venomancer, respectively. And Hani just keeping an eye on him. Doesn't have them. Slowly but surely, here's a rotation coming. We see the Rocket Flare spotting him out. There's going to be the hook. S4, caught by Trixie. Tries to mech it out, but the Orchid going to be used, and down he goes. Big kill there. He had just spent his gold. So, again, not the biggest loss in the world. He is getting a little bit more survivable. Finally, Weaver completes his BKB. And Loda got to feel a little bit more survivable in some of these fights.
Yep, good for him. Finally, he gets that. He can go Lincolns, but Lincolns gets popped by Fissure, gets popped by Force. I guess it's still pretty good versus Clinks, though. He needs more items, though. He still hits like a wet noodle. 113 damage on him.
I feel like Deso's the right choice if he can get it up. Because you look at Fnatic, they've got Clockwork, who's in great shape with a... Oh, hang on, there's going to be another hook that catches up with Ake. Loda's right behind. Look at Ake melt. They just have no answer for that. When those hooks are landing, Trixie is guaranteeing a kill more or less if Hani's anywhere in the vicinity. And that's exactly why the Deso, I think, is going to be necessary for Loda. He can blow up an Earthshaker, a Venomancer, a Pugna, and it clinks to a certain extent. I mean, he tanks up with Death Pact, of course, but that's really the problem. Can they just take Clinks down, and can the rest of the supporting cast find items to make them more survivable?
Yeah, I think it's still... I don't know if Alliance can recover from this, like, 10,000 gold lead. But Fnatic, if they take out Roshan, I think they can force the issue if they get a very nice Clockwork initiate. The Pugna Siege is just so difficult to deal with. Venomancer, only level 1 ward, though. I think if No-Tail went a 1-4-4 build instead of a 4-4-1 build, they could easily pressure the T3 and just constantly spam wards and Pugna Blast. And really, Alliance is forced to initiate at that point. And that's really how Alliance likes to play. They usually just, like, get Mass Necrobook or get a Necrobook or 2 with Nature's Prophet Trains and force the other team to come to them, which it's really important to do that when you're base pushing.
Bulldog is actually going with a Yasha, of all things. And, yeah, I saw that he just spent his gold. He's got a Yasha sitting on the courier. Interesting pickup for him.
The Manta split push. Here we go.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what's interesting is, I mean, seeing the, something like that come out isn't super uncommon. I mean, he's going to have, he's going to enjoy the bonus movement speed. If he is going a Manta for the split push, you can definitely understand why. But Necrobook, as you just said, that's kind of Alliance's style. And to be honest, most teams' style now, whenever you have that kind of gold to spend at this stage of the game and you're playing from behind. So, Alliance trying something a little different, trying to catch Fnatic a bit unawares.
Yeah, very interesting pickup still, nonetheless.
And, Era now level 11, has level 2 ultimate, and obviously with his Scepter, that ultimate is going to be a huge factor, both in his survivability and in their ability of Fnatic to put out some damage. I like the point you made about the skill build on the Venomancer, not having max Plague Wards. You know, if they have max Plague Wards right now, it's a little bit more of an advantage than I think with the build he already has. However, with Trixie just being a monster with his Scepter up and the fact that he's going to be throwing hooks aplenty, Fnatic's certainly not hurting by any stretch because of it.
I don't think that Fnatic can give Alliance a free Roshan, though. I mean, Alliance can kind of do it, though, just because they can put pressure on this left side around the map, and they don't have the mobility that Nature's Prophet does. So Fnatic needs to, like, make something happen, either just secure Roshan for themselves. Oh, it looks like Fnatic with the DD on Hani is just going to be able to melt him.
Yep. And Alliance in no position to try and do anything here. Bulldog and Loda might be able to trade a tower for it, but with only EGM, Ake, and S4 here in mid, Roche down to a quarter health. Hani just going berserk. Gonna go ahead and pop Strafe, realizing there is very little chance of anyone coming to stop them. So that's going to be an Aegis, and that's probably going to lead to a tier 3 push. And just look how safe they felt doing that. Take a look at the warding they had. Having no doubt that they were safe in there outside of perhaps a big 5-man smoke, but seeing Bulldog and Loda pushing the off lane, they're more than happy to allow them to take a little farm there.
Fnatic's still trying to do something. They've just been hanging around mid, not really doing that much, not really getting many kills, not getting any damage on the T3. And I still feel like they still should press their advantage right now while they have a big one. 7,500. It has stopped, though, in the past a couple of minutes, the gold difference.
Yeah. Kind of even out. Even with the Roche kill, we see it only kind of equalizing out so far as gold anyway. Experience has become not so big of a factor. I mean, obviously having any kind of level advantage like that makes the difference. Net worth-wise, 3 of the top 4 all belonging to Fnatic. That's no surprise. Only Prophet's really in range. S4's Viper has been pretty starved most of the game. He's only got a mech and a bit booster. He's got 2,000 gold in the bank, but he might need that for buyback for this defense.
Here it comes.
Now the ward goes down. There goes the Prophet ulti, softening them up. We see just how much damage that did, and that's the big issue Fnatic's lineup does have. They are squishy. Again, why? Hang on, Eric going to be netted down. No engagement out. But that's what I was talking about with Loda perhaps getting a Desolator. Getting a Deso would cause such a huge problem. Just the Prophet ulti alone really put a stop to Fnatic's aggression there. And they're, sieging this out. In the meantime, Loda takes a tower all by himself. They have yet to really get the tier 3 down in exchange. So they might end up getting the tier 3, but walking up those steps and going after the racks is something else entirely. Strafe pop. There's going to be a hook onto EGM. He's silenced out. Can he get off Song of the Siren before he dies? No. Fly comes in, lands a good fissure, going to catch 2 of them. The Rax in trouble, down to half health. Here comes S4, and the Poison Nova goes off. S4's going to end up down. Freezing Field doing a bit of damage, but not enough as it's interrupted with the death. TPs are coming in. This Rax is still standing. Can they re-engage? Buyback was used by Ake and S4 both. In the meantime, this bottom lane being pushed down. They're going to trade Rax for Rax. Here we go. Can they push through? They're going to kill off S4 and Ake again, almost certainly. S4 trying to make a run for it. And bottling up. He's going to turn and just do some damage. There's a Frostbite on the Hani. Hani's going to take... Oh, wow. Has the Aegis popped? They're going to turn around and come back home. They didn't get the melee racks, though. Loda time lapses, but it may not be enough. Shikuchi, no. They do manage to squish the bug. And Hani back up off of his Aegis. Going to go toe-to-toe with the remaining members of Alliance near their base. He's going to be frostbitten in. There's the Nova. There's a little bit of right click. Hani will drop. So they didn't get the melee racks at bottom, or back at the Radiant base, I should say. They trade ranged racks for melee racks. All things considered, though, that could have gone much worse for Alliance. What do you think of their decision to just split push and not defend their own racks?
Definitely the right decision. If you look at the gold league, they can't take them on a 5-on-5, especially without the Aegis, so they had to use some sort of trickery or just different strategies in order to do this. And when you see a team down by 14 kills in 26 minutes, you totally do not expect them to take a rack. So Alliance just pulling one out of their hat and taking down that rack's very surprise move from them, and it caught Fnatic off guard. I don't actually know if they knew that was going on. I think they would have TP'd a lot earlier. EGM slightly caught out of position. What they really wanted to do is maybe wait for one of them to TP back and then just sleep and then just sit there while they watch their racks being destroyed and then TP in to defend. That would have been the ideal situation, but unfortunately EGM got caught out at the start from that fantastic hook shot by Trixie.
Yep. In Bulldog we trust. Nature's Prophet sitting atop the net worth, and not just kinda. He's actually up 3K now. And this is a fascinating way for Alliance to play this out. I mean, I agree with you completely, by the way. The decision to trade that way instead of dedicate everything to the defense, certainly to their benefit. One of the stranger nature's Prophets builds you're ever going to see. He went phase 4 staff, or phase -4 staff, kind of a support approach. 4 staff, of course, fits well on any hero. But then after that has gone with nothing but pure split push, opting out of the Shadow Blade even, going for Maelstrom, Yasha, and the survivability granted by BKB. Now, though, Clinks just got that much more lethal. He now has a Hex to go with his Orchid.
Oh boy, that is really rough for Nature's Prophet. He has a BKB, but not very useful if he gets hexed out beforehand. We see a smoke. They're looking for Admiral Bulldog. Luckily, he just finished off the camp. They do have this ward behind him. It actually scouted him out over here, so they're going to be looking for him. He's circling around the tower.
He's got a TP. Basically, has no idea how much danger he's been in. No clue how close he came to dying.
And they're still looking for him. We see a wasted hookshot by Trixie, but he has Scepter, and now they're able to push on bottom. Is their smoke going to run out pretty soon? It looks like it is running out in about 10 seconds time. They will find Bulldog. He is going to run right into them.
Hani gets the Hex off. Strafe is there. There's the fissure to trap him in. Bulldog will end up cleaned up, and the hook thrown out, not going to connect up at top. Arrow was split pushing a bit.
Oh, they're looking for Era.
Yep, Alliance moving out, trying to catch him. Let's see. Yep, looks like that's going to be... honestly, though, looking at the way this is working out, it's a good thing they killed Bulldog. I mean, obviously, that's an objective worth taking. But they wasted a lot of time and a lot of effort to just get that one kill and not catch anyone else. So, again, extending this game. Alliance just pushing it as late as they can, trying to buy Loda time to catch up.
Base created.
Yep. And there's the first Mithril Hammer. He's going to have his Deso soon. I really think it's going to be shocking how quickly Fnatic's entire lineup melts if they're able to catch them out and able to, like, if they're able to ensnare the Clinks, I don't care how much health he has from Death Pact. A Deso on Weaver plus a Viper pecking away at him, and Viper's actually not far from his Scepter either. So, I mean, S4's tanking up. This is a little bit more dangerous for Fnatic as we cross 30 minutes now. And again, 30 minutes was the mark pointed out by Nahaz, where Pugna's win rate drops very dramatically.
Yeah, Naga Saturn also has her Force F2 in case she gets hook shot. But Hani's still just unable to find that many pickoffs. He needs to just kill Admiral Bulldog like over and over and over.
Yep.
Nature's Prophet almost has his Manta style. I still don't know why he went Manta style over Necro 3. They cost like roughly similar amounts, and for the way that he's playing, I think that Necrobook is more useful. I guess if he wants to like just bait it out and waste more of Fnatic's time, illusions are far more handy for that. But I guess Necro can also get eaten by Clinks too, so that's another consideration. Loda
BKB'd already. Was that a fat finger? I didn't see what prompted
oh
me.
no, he was fighting fly in the river.
Yep, was watching Bulldog actually. Thought he was just
They
gonna
both need to get out of dodge.
Yeah, they do. Loda has a TP and a time lapse and will not be spotted. And this is Fnatic is, I mean, there's a Scythe of Ice coming out. All of these are great items. The problem is you've got a Weaver who is innately survivable, and his Deso is all but
Look
done
at the
now.
Golden Graph.
Yeah.
It's actually slightly starting to tip in favor of Alliance in the past 10 minutes.
EGM's now level 11 as well, so cooldown on Song of the Siren going to allow them to defend. The problem Fnatic's having is what you always run into with the Prophet when you get to this stage of the game. Between his ultimate and between his innate, I mean, even especially with the way he's built, he's keeping every lane shoved, even though they have racks down in mid. Especially with top lane missing a set of racks as well. So this is going to shove just all on its own. They're giving so much attention to the bottom. They're going to need to pick off one or two heroes to really reliably go after a tier 3. Loda's going to Shikuchi back out, dodging out Hani. And Bulldog will be able to make it out once again.
They are so good at just dodging fights.
Yeah. This is
like incredible.
Remarkable. Just remarkable how well they're handling this.
I don't know why S4 picked up a Vid booster too. I think a Scepter would go further. And just constantly casting on Clinks, but looks like Fnatic trying to make a push. They need to do it right now. No-Tail has a BOT and he's able to push it out. I think it's a very smart pickup from him too, because they need to just stop the constant push from Alliance. So it looks like they're gonna have to make a hold very, very soon.
But Bulldog, once again, showing up in this bottom lane, and he's got 3,500 gold. Buyback's really going to be a major factor. He'll be split pushing down at bottom. Now Fnatic wants to try and crest the tower. Here we go. Hook going to be onto Era or EGM once again. There's the Echo Slam. Doesn't do a lot. EGM does end up dead. S4's in trouble after the Hex. He's down, strafe onto the tower. Buyback from EGM. Glyph's going to be there. They're going to have Song of the Siren, but look who's hooked up at bottom once again. The split push potential out of these two heroes through the roof.
Song.
Oh, he's going to catch him. Is he going to get Hani? No. Hani does manage to make it away. They do get Trixie and Era, though. And here we go. Era in trouble. Ake taking a lot of damage. Gets off the freezing field, but they're delaying the defense at bottom. S4 is going to end up dropping again. Loda going to be forced to TP back. Hani just doing too much damage on his own. The Prophet did make it back, so Fnatic not ready to abandon the siege quite yet. They don't have Hani for this.
Bulldog's get caught out. If Hani can get vision.
Oh, there's a hook. They're going to manage to catch Trixie there. In the meantime, at bottom, Bulldog caught out, hexed out. Looks like this may be a win for Fnatic. There's the Deso done on Loda, though, chasing down Era. There's an ensnare on the Trixie. Going to turn and try to do what damage he can. BKB wears off. He's going to be hexed. Time lapse at Fee. Nope, not going to make it. Godlike for Era. And Scyther, Manta style done on Bulldog in the meantime, but the Rack's going to end up dropping here at top. Out comes Bulldog. Go ahead.
I think Alliance should have TP'd out. TP'd when Hani TP'd. Like, they come in with Loda and Admiral Bulldog and fight 5-on-4 after the double buyback, and they only have to deal with one sheep instead of two.
Trixie caught, drops the cogs, though. And Alliance not quite ready to give up the ghost yet. They lost another melee rack, still have the ranged rack standing at the very least. And big win, though, going the way of Fnatic. Bulldog going to teleport right back down to bottom. And following that engagement, the goal graph up to the highest lead Fnatic's had all game. Now in 10 or 5-digit territory, 15,000 experience. So they're beginning to really run away with it.
Roshan is up. They need to do it very, very fast if Alliance wants a chance to win this game. The two sheeps is just extremely difficult to handle with right now. Combine that with a BOT, so smart item decisions coming out from Fnatic. And Nature's Prophet is playing very well. You rarely see a team down by 20 kills, 26-6. They're quadrupling them up in kills, but they're still managing to stay in the game right now. They also need a gem, because right now if they lose one more fight, they lose a game. Yep. And there it is, instantly scouted out by Trixie.
EGM going to be clutch in this fight. Can't afford to get hooked. Doesn't have buyback anymore. Has Song of the Siren. And might have to use it. And there it is. Roche is down low. Is this going to be a... Yep, they're just buying time. They're going to get it. Loda's going to pick this up. Now they're going to look to engage. Are they going to rat it or are they going to run for it? Here we go. No tail. It's snared from the low ground. And S4 going to be hexed. They're going to engage. Hani just going the town. Good force staff. Gets S4 up to the high ground. He has to find a way down to help out Bulldog. Silenced as well, and he will be cleaned up. S4 made his way back down, though. Loda with the BKB off cooldown. He's going to turn. There's an Echo Slam. Does a bit of damage. Loda in trouble. They exchange 2-0, make it 2-1 now as we see the Venomancer die. S4 will be life drained to death. Trixie didn't pursue EGM out. Behind this, though, Bulldog bought back, teleported into the high ground. He's going to be hit with the cogs. He's going to make it back out as he's force-staffed away. He will be able to run. Trixie's going to be ensnared. Hani's behind him, though. Loda runs into the cogs. Has to use wand charges to get enough mana for Shikuchi. Will be able to do it. And he actually got hit there. EGM, in the meantime, force-staffs to the high ground. Trixie can't find a way to catch him. Aegis will be popped. Hani sitting right on top of him. And Loda going to try to run immediately. Had an Orchid available there, just unable to track him down fast enough. Trixie throws out the rocket, and there's the silence after. The Scythe, hook to follow up, 30-9. Alliance took Roshan, but did not take the fight. Another big win goes the way of Fnatic, and they're in charge of this late game.
So close, though. I mean, denying Fnatic that Roshan was pretty important, too. Fnatic, Hani, just way too big right now.
Yep, speaking of.
Let's get caught out.
Bulldog trying to withdraw. Hani's right on his tail. And there you go. Gonna scythe him and force the BKB out. Should have hexed him. Had hex ready. Just didn't think he was going to need it. That's a shame. Hani, I don't know why he didn't hex him. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he should have hexed.
30-10, tripling them up. The fact that Alliance is even still in this game, fairly impressive. But tell you what,
Very
man.
impressive.
Fnatic's dominance really showing through. And we knew they were capable of this. I mean, they pushed Alliance to a third game in their meeting earlier today, and looking like they're positioned very well to do it for the second time.
Mm-hmm. Admiral Bulldog, though, don't count him out. He doesn't have buyback for another 4 minutes, though. I think if Fnatic just pushes before then they can force a GG out. Clockwork died, does not have buy, or he has buyback soon, but he hasn't actually used it. Clinks also has buyback too, so they can kind of brute force the last Rex if they need to.
Oh,
these range wrecks. So
this could go bad for either side. They're going to smack into each other as they smoke around. Loda runs out. There's a Gale, missed everyone. Loda goes to the high ground after being hexed, and EGM looking for an ensnare. He's got a song if he wants to pop it. Off goes the Poison Nova, does decent damage. There's going to be an ensnare as well as a Sprout. No Tail going to be the free kill. And in the meantime, the fight breaks out behind them. Here we go. Fly manages to catch Bulldog. Bulldog will end up dropping. Hani continues to do work. Loda quite low. And Ake dies to the Orchid damage. Here's Song of the Siren. I'm a little surprised they didn't do this earlier. This is just going to be as a defensive maneuver, though. However, Bulldog is down for a long time. Hook shot not going to connect. Bulldog down for 80 seconds.
Yep, they are going to swing for that last Rex. So they're going to push in with mid, wait for that creep wave to get up the hill. They can probably just snipe both range Rex while they're at it. 200 HP on the top one. Mid one is at 400 HP and very close to being mega creep. So they Alliance can't push this last one. They can't split push. They can't trade Rex because mega creeps is just going to be too much for them to handle. But Bulldog is down for 60 seconds. So if they do take on this 4-on-5 fight,
EGM coming out of away from the base. Just honestly, Alliance, if there's one mistake they've made consistently coming down the stretch here, they're just not respecting the Clinks. They are going out alone way too much, and it's cost them so much. Era in some trouble. He's going to decrepify. Loda doing what damage he can, but not very much. And there's the life drain. Era surviving through because of it. S4 is going to end up dead. S4 has had very little influence on that Viper as well. And that should be it, and it is. GG's called. And 35-11 took him a little bit longer than 16 minutes, but Fnatic takes as dominant a win as you could ask for, finishing right around 12,000 gold ahead and 25,000 experience. Alliance drops game 2. We're going to a game 3, my friend.
Hold by Alliance, so a lot of teams would have just GG'd out a long time ago, but Alliance through creative play managed to get a Roshan, get a Rex too. So I mean, even though they lost in a fairly convincing fashion, Fnatic they managed to get a lead and not really give it up for most of the game. Very impressive play by them. I think they should ban out Pugna. Alliance should next game.
Yeah, Pugna was that's worth mentioning. I mean, Pugna played excellently by Era, 13-2. The Clockwork, though, 36 kills. Clockwork, played by Trixie, was involved in 28 of the 36 kills tallied in total. 27 for Venomancer, 21 for Pugna. They just 5-man so effectively. Alliance really hung in quite well. But down the stretch, how many times do we see it happen? They just weren't respecting the Clinks pick. A little bit of lapses in judgment in terms of support movement. And that was all she wrote. 39 minutes, 11 seconds, all the time it took for Fnatic to even this series up. 36-11, the final kill score. Game 3's on the way. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, joined by Merlini. He's the other guy, the voice of insight, voice of reason. You're hearing on the other end of this. And if we can get our Twitter, boom, there they are. You can follow us both on Twitter. I'm at AC. And Merlini, of course, at Merlini Dota. And why don't you go ahead and plug your other stuff while we're at it here, Merlini? I haven't let you do that enough today. Where can all these fine folks tap into more of your insight and knowledge?
Sure, my personal stream is at twitch.tv/MerliniDota. I will be casting for most of the week, but other than that, I stream fairly often. You can also follow me on Facebook and YouTube, also at /MerliniDota.
There you go. Make sure you check him out, guys, at Merlini Dota. You can find him in a multitude of places. And you can find him right here as Game 3 is upon us. This is the HyperX D2L. Settle in, grab a beer, and get ready for some good Dota. 1-1, Alliance and Fnatic, both matching up for the second time today. The last series in the Dota 2 Champions League, they went 3 games. We'll be doing it again in just a few minutes. Stick with us. We'll be right back.